I'm live. Hi. Hi, everyone. Oh, hi, Grams. Hello. Well, I'm just waiting for our guest to join me. I'm Payne Brown of Stoller Family Estate. One of the winemakers. I focus on the reserves and legacy and the bubbly, which is what we're going to talk about tonight. So, yeah, and I'm waiting for our special guest, Julia Coney, who is an educator and, oh, I see her, a wine educator, and let's see if I can get her to come on. A consultant, here she is. Well, 1 second. Did we do it? Thanks everybody for joining, making it so I don't drink alone. Hi.
Hey, baby! You know you're
How's it
sideways,
going?
right? You know you're sideways.
I'm sideways, and I don't.
Yeah,
know
you're horizontal.
Oh my god! And you're horizontal. Let me see if I can fix this. Technical difficulties. So I guess
Yes.
we'll go vertically.
And look at our red lip girls.
I know. I dressed up for you tonight.
I just look.
I'm back.
You're
Gosh.
back.
You know what? I'm an Instagram live newbie.
Look at you. Look at your first time. Look.
I know. Thank you for joining me.
Look. I have an empty glass because I don't know what we're drinking first.
I know, and I was thinking about this, which is so funny because I have 3 glasses in front of me, and I was gonna ask your opinion on. I got a coupe, I got a flute, and I got a bowl.
Nope.
And I know what I like. Yeah. I know. You know, I think we should start with the Blanc because I know you've been waiting. I know you've been waiting to try it. So
I love you guys. I love everybody at Stoller. I think you guys are an exceptional winery that shows that a winery can scale and still be personable.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't get a lot of that in the wine world, but like you guys make some good juice though.
Oh, we do a great job. I mean, I think what we have going for us, I mean, we will try the chemistry shortly, but what is so wonderful is that we have the ability to pull fruit off of our estate, but then we have 2 facilities on our property, so we're able to not sacrifice quality, be able to focus on, the small blends and then focus on the large blends and give it the same amount of attention. I don't know.
But here's the thing. If I blind tasted a bunch of people on this, they would really think this is champagne just from the nose.
I am so happy to hear you say that.
Because you are not champagne people. And if one of the things, if you drink a lot of champagne, you understand the concentration of bubbles in the nose first. And you could this is why you want it in a wine glass instead of a flute. I mean, look how they're rising.
Yep.
Like literally, they're tiny. They're perfect.
I'm just gonna pour a little bit more since we were starting.
Why not?
I feel like we need to toast to the fact that we had originally intended to rendezvous in Champagne last week.
Yeah, we were supposed to be in Champagne. I was supposed to arrive, I think, on the 15th. I'm like, mid-March was like, you have a credit. And I went, that's interesting. I didn't do anything. United was like, nope, no girl. No.
Okay, we're starting off with the 2015 Blanc De Blanc.
Blanc De Blanc.
This was made it's really the first year we made the Blanc De Blanc, and it was we'll toast, first of all. Cheers, friends.
Cheers.
Thank you for Santé, not making me drink alone on a Friday night. Yeah. Hiding from my kids.
Where are the kids?
They are actually on a car ride to the beach and coming back later.
Amen.
So, I know.
Amen.
I think it's good. If they were here, they would want to be all over this. So yeah. So it works out. It works out so much better. So Yeah, we Blanc De Blanc. I know, 5 years on lease for this. We just
This is
disclosed it.
insane. This is this shows that America can do sparkling wine in the traditional method very well.
Thank you. I am so proud of this wine. I'm a little sad that we didn't make very much of it. It was really, we had started the LaRue's Brut Rosé, which we'll try as well in really in earnest in 2014. We started farming for sparkling, and in 2015, Bill Stoller said, "Hey, what about making a Blanc de Blanc?" And I said, "Absolutely." And it was really to commemorate the 20-year anniversary of the vineyard, because it was started and it was first planted in 1995. And so we planted 10 acres of Pinot Noir, 10 acres of Chardonnay, and it's grown since then. So now we have over 200 acres, 225, I believe, planted on the estate. And
how much is that a Chard? Like, is it a third? Like,
no, it's not. We definitely have more Pinot Noir. We are about 60 acres of Chardonnay.
Okay.
So, yeah, do some math, but no. It's like what, a third? Less than a third. But yeah, so within that, we're able to do a lot of different Chardonnays. So just the Blanc de Blanc is just one expression of the Chardonnay that we can do.
It's so cool. I love like the Willamette Valley Chardonnay because it has that old world elegance that sometimes you don't get in other states.
Yeah.
I'm going to be politically correct for the first time. So you don't
have to be politically correct.
Well, I just, I'm not on my page, and I feel sometimes I can say whatever I want on my page, but this is amazing. No, you guys have done a great job, and I think what brings it out is the 5 years on the lease, right? I'm wondering the difference if this would have been like a minimal for 15 months that you can do for like a non-vintage in champagne, correct?
Yeah.
That a lot of people do to bring to the market, right? You could have rushed to bring this to the market, and people would have been fine with it. But this tastes like old world champagne.
Yeah, it's so funny because we did just that. It wasn't in the sales cycle yet, and we kept saying, I kept tasting it and saying, "Oh no, we're just gonna let it ride." It wasn't ready yet, and it was more primary fruit, and almost trended towards like a simpler wine. It's like, it's just not ready. So just kept pushing it off, and we'd try it every 6 months. And last summer, 2019, and so it kind of tentatively was like, "Oh, okay, we'll disgorge it in December 2019." And in the summer of 2019, I tasted it and it's like, it's ready. We are ready. We can start dosage trials, and then we can move forward. And
so explain for when you decided to, after tasting so much Vin Clair, and for one, people don't understand, when you taste a wine that's made in a traditional sparkling method, the Vin Clair is just a still wine that the winemakers taste before you decide to do what you need to do.
Yeah.
What made you guys, like, how many iterations of the Vin Clair did you taste?
For me, making Blanc de Blanc, it was pretty easy to figure out the blend for the Vin Clair. I looked for more purity of wine, looked for lack of phenolics, looked for something that was, just bright Chardonnay. So I picked this was picked 2015, was a warmer vintage, but there was a lot of fruit out there. So, and thinking about sparkling wine and thinking about champagne, I was thinking, like, we hung the fruit on these vines pretty heavily. And so mainly because I didn't want to battle the phenolics. And being in the Dundee Hills, on the southernmost tip of the Dundee Hills, I wanted to retain the acidity. So what is so interesting about this wine, because we hung heavier, which is suitable for our site, we get a lot of kind of elegance to begin with. So did press fractions when pressing, so kept the the free run, or as opposed to the Thai separate, and then played around a little bit with blending to see if it made sense. But really what went into the 2015 was only 3 barrels worth was free run juice. And so didn't have to play around. Now going forward, because our program has grown so much since 2015, I was just doing blending trials on sparkling wine a week ago, and the wine is so, it's different. I mean, it helps that there's so much more Chardonnay to choose from, but the hard press versus the free run is very different. So I think there was more playing around now because there's more material to work with than there is back then. But tasting Montclair is a thing unto itself, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we would have been doing last week.
Yes.
I mean, you taste the Montclair, which is just wine that is, it's base wine and is so highly acidic.
Yeah. So I think we have to explain what last week. So there is an industry conference in the Champagne region in France called Printemps, which is basically spring, in the spring of Champagne. And what they do, they get all these industry people to come to these small tastings and taste the still wines with previous, well, I would say vintages of the wines, but you're mainly tasting the straight juice. And it's acidic. It's like they're trying to find structure and balance and see what the industry thinks, but ultimately the winemaker decides.
Yeah.
But I remember one day filming an Instagram live showing people why you spit. Yeah. Because it was at Terre de Vin, and I think at Terre de Vin, I think it's 200 champagne.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Taste. Probably more than half are Vin Clairs, and you will be drunk. Like, that's just, which is fine, but you will be like, I was like, no, I still have something else to do. So
yeah, I started going to Terre de Vin in 2010, and it was really eye-opening for me in kind of the formation of how I thought about Montclair, in that there were some that were really fresh and some that had a lot of aldehydes, and there was really the conversation of the merriment of the two. And so as when I first got into winemaking, I was like, oh, I'm going to make sparkling naively, right? Idealistic naivete. It's like, oh, yes, you need capital and all of that fun stuff. But no, it's interesting because when I started making sparkling, it's like, okay, I wanted the purity of fruit, but there's something interesting. And I used to worry about the aldehydes, and now I don't worry as much about it because they contribute to that, and they're going to go away and be absorbed in a reductive state when it goes through the Prix de Mousse, when it gets that carbonation. So I don't worry about a little bit of aldehyde in the wine in the Montclair.
But one of the things I always try to tell people in discussing wine is your wine should taste, maybe vintage to vintage, depends on what it is, a little similar, but it shouldn't taste always the same, right?
Totally.
And one of the things about this Blanc de Blanc is typically you get a lot of, and I think I got an echo. I might need to put on some headphones, but that's just me. I'm getting not those notes that are brioche. Right? Usually with Blanc de Blanc, you see it may be brioche and it may be toasty and yeasty. This is crisp. This is laser focused. This is zippy.
It is, but there's elements
Chef
of that
Bex told me I had an echo, so I'm going to get some headphones. Okay. Chef Bex, he wants to go to Champagne with us.
Oh, great, solid. Let's take this show on the road. Bring everybody. Yeah, no. So I do see a little bit more brioche to this. Do I have an echo? Anybody out there? Stollerverse? I don't think I do, but if I do, let me know.
This is fine. This may help. Headphones, old school. No, I'm still getting an echo.
I don't hear you as an echo, but then people just get to hear you twice.
Yeah, but
I'm just kidding. Hi, everyone.
But we have wine, so we can work this out.
We do. So yeah, I do get some of that briochiness, but you're right. There's a laser acidity to it, and I think that's going to lend some longevity to this wine.
Would you suggest people age it?
I think it can be aged, for sure. I think it's going to continue to develop in the bottle. Unfortunately, we don't have very much of it left.
How many bottles do you have left of this?
Well, so
my job is to sell wine, so I'm going to tell you go on Stoller site and find it. We can't drop a link.
We don't have very much left. I think we only have magnums of our first disgorgement left, as of what I know.
Whoa, wait a minute, stop. You have magnums?
We have magnums. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I should have sent you a Magnum, but
Oh,
we'll
we're
take
gonna
that
work on a
towards the
Magnum.
end.
Yeah, we're gonna try to work on a Magnum.
Yeah, when we can get
And
together.
why a Magnum sparkling tastes completely different than a 750 is an
Oh,
entire other like it is.
one of my favorite tastings, because I do have a champagne group that it's called Brute Force that I meet with locally in Oregon, and it's a mix of
I'm gonna
restaurateurs.
crash that once
Oh,
the
you
world
have to.
open up. Once the world open up,
Restaurateurs,
I'm crashing.
and winemakers and distributors. And one of our tastings was to get the same wine, and magically it was like the same wine, same disgorgement date, but in a like in a split essentially, a 750 and a Magnum, and it was remarkable how different they are. I mean, the splits, so far more oxidized, and the 750 a little bit tighter, but then the Magnum was just so fresh and tight and beautiful, and yeah, it was so interesting. But I mean, I love buying all wines in Magnum. They just last forever. I'm a huge proponent of
But the
wine.
space issue, right? I think a lot of
There is a
times, like,
space issue.
the space issue, people don't have a lot of space, or if they do, they want to put a couple of things instead of one or two things for a Magnum. And
Yeah.
I have a few Magnums, but I actually still riddle mine. I have a thing in my phone, an alert to go riddle my bottles.
Do you really?
I riddle
Y'all
them
put me that up.
probably every 9 weeks if it's a Magnum
Mm-hmm.
of bubbles, just because I just don't trust on one side for so long.
So, what is your bubble origin story? How did you? What was the siren that lured you into it?
So it was April 2016, and I have a friend. She started a luxury tour company for Black Americans to travel. We were all going to Paris to see Janet Jackson. This is April 2016. The concert was canceled because Janet was pregnant.
That's right.
So the owner turns to me and go, "What do we do? We got these people in Paris and we took their concert money." I said, "We're going to charter a bus. We're going to do a day trip to Champagne."
Yes.
I had never been to Champagne. I had drunk Champagne, never been to
Yeah.
Champagne. I found this restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
Coney in Epernay, to accommodate us for lunch for 50 people.
What?
It's super tiny. People were sitting on boxes of wine. Like it was, and we decided to do, the Moet. We was like, we got to take people, and we did lunch. And we did a 4-course lunch with grower champagne and Seacombe. And I will never forget, they did Charton Tellet, Bruno Marguet, Pierre Jomonet, and
Yes.
Moussay and Fee. That was the pairing. We sat in this after, we went to Moet and did the tasting. And we was like, okay. We came to that lunch, and afterwards, she and I turned to each other, like, so we're going to plan a trip here. And I was like, it was it. And she was like, I'm going to buy a case. And I was like, okay, I'll split it with you. And we literally, they were selling the wine check bags to us. People were like on this bus, literally hand carrying bags of champagne because we had never had that. And that was my start of going down a rabbit hole of bubbles.
Yeah.
And the guy was so knowledgeable because he had just gotten back from Spain. So he was telling about Spain. He was talking about French Corte. He was talking about not just champagne, but just
so cool.
these bubbles in a way that no one had said that to me. And yeah. And now, 4 years later, bubbles with you.
I know.
Champagne master candidate. Like it's
That's so amazing. I love it. That's incredible. Yeah. Well done. I know. There's always these little moments, and I don't know if I have one particular moment, but it's funny when I got into the wine world. I always said that I was going to make sparkling, and
really,
yeah. I don't know why. I love to drink it, for sure. It's always what I gravitated towards.
You should next year when Printemps and the world open back up. You should bring the Stoller bubbles to La Transmission. Which is the group of 9 women champagne makers that decide to band together. You should bring that and present it so people in Champagne can see it and just see like what they're doing in the U.S. It'll be something.
I would love to do that.
We should talk about it. I know somebody who is one of the ladies on that. We should get you there.
That'd be fun. Yeah. I mean, we'll for sure have to. We're gonna do this again. We're gonna go and go to Printemps and do this again. I was looking forward to, because usually when I go there, I kind of, well, I go there to see friends, but then also it's on the heels of usually going to Burgundy. And so I never have as much time. And so this time I was going to spend a full week there. And I haven't done a full week in Champagne since the Icelandic volcano. I got stuck there.
Yeah.
I was supposed to stay there for like 7 days, and then I stayed there for an extra 2 weeks because flights were canceled. Right?
Exactly.
And it was glorious. It was wonderful.
Yeah, but we met in January.
I know.
Because when I was at Stoller in 2018, I didn't get a chance to meet with you.
No.
And then we went to dinner in January when I was for Assemblage Symposium. We went to Thistle. You guys, the beef tartare at Thistle, Lord have mercy. If I could FedEx that to me in Willamette Valley, I would. And we started talking about champagne, and that was it. Like, we started talking about champagne and beauty products, and that was kind of like the whole thing.
And then, you sent me that incredible list of products that I was supposed to buy in France.
I got an extra one. I'm going to mail to you.
Oh, my God. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I need, you know what? It's all the pleasures that we need right now, you know, in these moments, like that, I don't know, good skincare. Staying out of the sun, it's really great. But it's the simple moments, trying to find happiness and
trying to find beauty. And that's one of the things I think, you know, one of the things this is all doing is having us realize what is really important.
Yeah.
In a way to like slowing down to reassess, right? Yeah. And just, for me, I hope a lot of virtual things, because I think it has brought the wine world down a bit, right? To where everybody is equal, instead of this person is here, this person's over here, to make everybody realize like the beauty is what is in this glass, and let's figure it out, right? Yeah. And people who make really good wine, and from a sense of place, purpose, and passion. I am not into branded wines. There are branded wines on the market, and I have a hard time with them. And I do understand their place, but I am not willing to talk about that. Yeah. I want to, you know, discuss, like, if you could tell me about the phenols and the alcohol and the tirage and the riddling and everything that goes into this, instead of me be like, oh, you just slap your name on something.
No, I mean, so close to all of these wines. Probably sometimes too close. But I don't know.
Bubbles make everything better, though. Bubbles make everything better.
I know. I agree.
Yeah.
We should taste.
What are we opening next? You tell me. Oh, I'm following the winemaker, not the wine writer.
I know. Well,
I'm done. I've been done with that.
I'm trying. So that's why I've been like, I'm enjoying drinking. Usually coupes aren't my go-to because it falls faster. But I just have to share this sweet little coupe.
Is this next that I need to open?
Borrowed from the Plaza in the 70s. So someday it might get returned.
Here's the thing. I think I use my coupes for like cocktails, right?
Yeah.
French 75s, Manhattans. I'm really on the Manhattan kick. Old fashions. Yeah. And I think coupes are beautiful for photo layouts.
For sure.
I think they're great. I think when you're discussing flavor profiles, it's very hard. The bubbles don't rise.
Yeah. Bowls are
right. And I know people are really into like flutes, which, you know, American style invention. Those are the same. The bubbles don't get to have a chance. My main one is a basic everyday. This is a SL5. This is a Riedel everyday red. I had white, and I decided to like, let's play along like with a little red one. And for me, immediate nose you get that you can't get in a coupe, but the coupes are beautiful. I mean, they're Gatsby's, they're elegant, they're fun. I mean, they're gorgeous. They're gorgeous at a party, but if you're with wine geeky people, they're gonna be like, we don't do coupes, right? But if you're having fun, who gives a shit?
Yeah. Oh my God, I sometimes drink it out of like a little butcher glass because it's self-preservation most days.
Look, I've gone to backyard barbecues with a red Solo cup and a bottle of champagne, and guess what? I know it's not going to taste the same, but if I'm bringing my own juice, I'm going to drink it where I'm not harming anybody. And that's just how I look at that.
This is why we're friends. This is why we're friends. So
you got to read the room. You have to read the room.
Oh, that was the number one. That's the number one rule in public speaking, right? Or just being in any situation. Read the room.
Read the room.
So this is rosé. This is my favorite rosé. 2016. Oh, 2016 was the warmest year on record for Oregon, and so it was. I mean, it was such an interesting vintage. It was also the year that I had my second son.
Oh,
I know. So sometimes I can hear him crying. Sometimes it's like a seashell, because he was 3 weeks old when we harvested the grapes for this wine. And I remember thinking, oh, we've got time in 2016. And at that point, he was 3 weeks old. I was home on maternity leave, and I texted our vineyard manager. Was like, oh my God, go sample the grapes. I just have this feeling. I have this feeling that they're going to be really close, and we're going to be picking. And I was really hoping to get past Labor Day, like to have like 5 weeks off after having him. And it turns out like we didn't. He went and picked it. He went and sampled, and he texted back, and he's like, oh my God, they're 18.5. And so
that's a high brick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for sparkling, I tend to want to go for us between 18 to 19 and a half. And mainly because, well, one, I want to keep the alcohol low, but also I want to keep the acidity high. And in a warm vintage like that, every day that the bricks are rising, the acidity is dropping. And so I was really concerned about that. But the bricks, or the acidity, because things were ripening so fast, it just didn't have time at that point to drop. So even though we picked it so early, and we didn't look as closely at the acidity, which is not always what we do, but the acidity was super high on this wine, more so than other vintages. And so you can tell this one we just disgorged in September. You can tell right now. I think it needs to fill out on the palate a little bit more. But this is a blend of Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. And
what are the percentages? If anyone's
80-20.
80-20. Mm-hmm. Now, why are you looking for acidity in your sparkling? Because you said that. Like, why? Mm-hmm. I love acidity. That right here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Why are you looking for that as a winemaker?
I think if sparkling wine doesn't have acidity, then it's gonna taste flabby, and it's gonna it's not gonna be what I consider traditional sparkling. It's gonna, and I think my mind always goes to something, because my love for sparkling wine was kind of born in Champagne. I wanted to kind of emulate that. And so, yeah, I wanted to keep with that. I mean, the champagnes were started to be acidic basically by virtue of where they are placed geographically, mm-hmm. right? Like they have a hard time sometimes in the past ripening, and not so much anymore. But that was kind of the tradition of sparkling wine or champagne. And so, if the wine gets too low in acidity, it's gonna not have that interplay, that tension in the wine that you have, and I think you'd miss it.
I know, but so I'm the journalist, so I'm going to ask the question about tension, since you brought that up.
Oh goodness. Mm-hmm.
No. When you work in wine, we understand that there's balance and there's tension. Mm-hmm. There's tension in dealing with food.
Yeah.
A lot of consumers don't understand why tension matters, right? Mm-hmm. Why texture and what you're looking for, and they'll drink a lot of sparkling and go, I don't like sparkling. It's too tight. It has a bite. Yes. They're drinking a lot of, trying to figure out the best way to say this. They drink a lot of sparkling and champagne that is manufactured for the U.S. for a
Which is sweeter.
sweeter, yes,
Mm-hmm.
sweeter palate.
Yeah.
And when you get the tension and the acidity and the crispness and that whole like my mouth is watering feeling, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people don't necessarily understand tension. So can you explain why you're going for that tension in your sparklings?
Because it's like this, potential energy, right? This life blood of the wine. It's like wound up, this potential energy that's kind of currently, and I feel like a good um, sparkling wine should have that tension. It's almost like it's when you drink it, it's taut on your palate, but then there's a release to it. And
Mm-hmm.
I think there's something really special in that. And I get it, champagne or sparkling wine may not be for everybody because of that. And I agree, there are some wines that are a little bit more gratuitous, for sure, on the palate. But I'd rather see that gratuity come from a wine that is able to age. You know, this wine, it's tight right now. It's got a lot of acidity. This is 6 grams per liter of dosage to balance out that acidity. Whereas the Blanc de Blanc was only 4 grams because it's Chardonnay. And
But
it's so
that's a
tough.
lot when you think the average
It's
champagne
8.
is 8,
Yeah.
but the ones that are actually coming to the market
Mm-hmm.
are between 11 and 12. So if you think
But I
those
think
that
there's
are,
a trend. I think there's a trend kind of moving backwards and not just
well, I
having.
love this Christmas. I think of the way people eat. I think of like salads. I think of like to
Mm-hmm.
go food, anything in a bowl. You know, we're in that generation, everything is a bowl. I love it.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
but you think about the
Me too.
flavors and the unity that are
Mm-hmm.
coming. You don't need the sweet. You need things that can go with cruciferous vegetables. You need things that can actually go with these rich cheeses that are
Mm-hmm.
added. That
Mm-hmm.
these bitter greens that just kind
Yes.
of like play.
The
This
charcuterie boards,
the sugar
something.
exactly.
I
Yeah.
think sparkling wines are often seen as a celebratory wine, and I think that's
Mhm.
true, and I'm glad that's for it. But celebrating could be that you made it through the day
You took a
today,
you
and
know it's
for me,
Friday and you took a shower and we
yeah,
put on makeup. How about that?
I put on makeup. I didn't even get a shower today. I had like a couple
You
crusts
put on
of peanut butter
makeup.
and
We
jelly for
you
lunch.
that's what I'm talking about. Like, yeah. And you and I discussed this, like a lot
Mhm.
of we'll bring up like food when we talk
Yeah,
about this. Sparkling, potato chips,
I know.
French
Popcorn.
fries,
I know.
popcorn, like
Yeah.
those like salty, sweet, like
Yes.
one of my favorite things is kettle chips and
Oh,
sparkling wine.
yeah.
Like between like if you don't have time to fry anything, if you don't have just get you some kettle chips and just call it a day.
Yeah. I'm certainly guilty of that. Make sure my kids are fed, and by the time
Yeah.
you make dinner, for some I'm like I'm not hungry anymore. I think I'll just have a little bit of nibbles, some cheese, a glass of
Oh yeah.
sparkling.
My friend
I'll do some reading.
Kimberly was
Oh,
like
caviar is
caviar. Honey, caviar is
yes.
just like that's yeah, we know creme fraiche caviar. My friend Shakira adds a little of that Lipton onion seasoning mix. I
Yeah.
like my caviar with za'atar.
Ooh,
Like
satire is
creme fraiche guitar with a little za'atar in it, and then
yeah,
caviar in this. Like yeah, is sumac is another one you can go with. Yeah.
so good. Um, did you? I mean, you can tell in these two wines the difference. But my nose is itchy.
No, no.
We're not allowed to touch our face anymore. I don't know what to do.
I think they're that we're not allowed to do anything. Look, you know, it's yeah. We could go on that whole tangent. I
Oh
am
no,
still
that's
like
another. This is another
I
Instagram
am
event.
still doing like my 10-step beauty routine every night because
I'm
it
so
just
glad.
brings me joy.
Me
You
too.
know, I keep saying one night I'm gonna go with, you know, I do my daily Tracy Anderson, my daily yoga practice, 30 minutes, 15 minutes like that. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to be like, it's a lot. And the other day, like I finally was like, when I started realizing my whole trip it thing got canceled, I
Yeah.
started crying. Like I literally was emotional, like looking at the emails. And I was like, okay, I need to grieve the life that is not actually happening, right?
I know. And you were traveling so much.
This is April was the first month I hadn't been on a plane in 4 years. Every month,
Wow.
I thought about my speaking engagements. I thought about not being at IPNC. We had all these plans. Forget Champagne. I was like, IPNC, I'm going to Oregon again. When I had to cancel my hotel at the Atticus, I was like, I called them and I say, you guys, they were like, yeah, we know. It wasn't even, they were so nice. And I said, just put it on for next year. They went, really? I'm like, yeah, here's the new dates. Like, I'm coming to Oregon. Like, I'm coming back to Oregon. And that was a thing, like, for me, because you and I come from, if a lot of you guys don't know, I used to be a beauty writer. So I come from a fragrance background. So I had this entire workshop called Wine is Fragrance that I was presenting at IPNC. And it got canceled. And I was like, oh my God.
I was so excited about that because we were going to get the show back together.
The band back together. We're going to have this great party. And it was like, wow, next year. And just like, hey, you know, so Champagne Week got canceled, and then Batonage, and then IPNC, and then all these other things. But I'm like, I have to flatten the curve. I have to stay safe for everybody else. So I'm okay with that. And how do we bring these connections of the community? Like, it's a whole different thing. And you're hosting this, and I'm hosting other stuff, and we're trying to like bring it in, because how do we save this industry that employs so many people?
Yeah. I mean, I felt like dominoes, right? Like, and I was talking about this with somebody just earlier today, and that I felt like, you know, March, we were at a dinner, like a fundraiser, March 11th, and it's like, oh yeah, I don't know if my trip is gonna happen, and then you see on the news during the dinner, it's like, oh my God, Tom Hanks has COVID-19. It was like, he's a national treasure. Like, how is, and then it was just like one of these things. It was like, it's not going to get this bad. Oh, there'll be something, and then it just kind of domino like crazy. One thing kept falling from another, and it was just one of those like, oh, I'm heartbroken. And then you're like, okay, we got to do the right thing. We got to stay home. We got to do it right. But
like still... I was in Italy in February for this Amarone release, right? And I met these amazing people, and we just had we bonded in a way. And I come home, and then I go back to Napa real quick, and I come home, and I'm like, wait a minute, so I don't get to see y'all like in 2 months? Like, you know, for me, it was like, it has really been a paradigm shift, right? It's been a lot of, thank God, before all this happened, I got my therapist online, like, last year. So I have been straight. I've got therapy online. I got wine deliveries coming. I get to talk to people. And I think as a community, we're bonding over this new paradigm.
Yeah.
But I hope it continues when everything slowly starts transitioning again. Because what thing that I found are consumers are telling me, I follow you, and then I see you doing these talks, and it makes me feel a part of what's going on.
Yeah, for sure. I think, and I mean, I know that we're all missing, you know, human interaction. I am looking forward to the day that we can sit down at a table and share these wines together and share conversation across the table. And it's so interesting, the connectivity in the interim. Like, there's standing Zoom dates or standing just Instagram dates, or there's people checking in more so than I think I've seen in a while, which is nice. Like, I like that, and I appreciate it, and I feel loved.
Because the hippie in me is like reading a lot of Pima Children in like the artist way, and like not in like the like push to create, but push to connect.
Yes.
Right. I think before, like, I was around people, but I wasn't necessarily connecting, because it's like, hey, I'm with you for 6 days, and then I go home 5 days, and then I'm on a plane with somebody else. So for me now, the connections are deeper.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's what I was lacking and didn't know I actually needed.
Yeah. So I have a question for you. And thinking about your workshop that we're going to do, and is this going to happen again in 2021 for?
Oh yeah, we just moved the dates. Wine is Fragrance.
Wine is Fragrance.
Yes.
Were you going to focus on varietals, or I mean, I didn't even get that far. I was curious to see what your idea was with it.
Yeah, part of my idea is, for me, I spend a lot of time in Grasse, France, which is right next to Provence, and people don't know, studying fragrance with a lot of
That's
noses.
amazing.
I spent time with Olivier Poge. I spent time. I remember meeting Jean-Claude Elena, who
Oh my
made
God.
fragrance for Hermes, and was like
Yeah.
almost on the verge of tears, like, you know. But it is focusing on varietals and flowers, right?
Cool.
Because a lot
Cool.
of time when we think of wine, we always go to fruit,
Yeah.
right? But there's fruit in fragrance. There's flowers in fragrance. There's different woods in fragrance. Not necessarily oak, if we're speaking of, but we can talk about oud, scents, and also not flowers from the component of in fruit, dehydrated, cooked,
Yeah.
fresh. So
I
I know,
love
like,
this.
yes, because I always say, like, I remember being in one workshop in Grasse, and they did Lily of the Valley, and they did it cooked, dehydrated, at 100 degrees, 200 degrees, 400 degrees, pulsed, which was a different scent,
Wow. Interesting.
pressed. Yeah, because they do everything differently to
Yeah.
get a different oil, right? And then how does it change if it's a hydrosol, which means how does it change if it's steamed? So we
Yes.
take Pinot Noir, right?
Yeah.
How is that different than if it sat in the sun in Oregon, right? It sat in the sun in California, Texas. If we put it in a 250-degree oven, if we smashed it between our palms, it is always going to smell different.
Oh my
How do
God. I
we,
love this.
when we put it in, so wine is fragrance.
Yeah.
Not necessarily it's about fragrance as perfume when once alcohol is added. We're talking about it when alcohol hasn't been added.
Yeah.
And
I
then if
love
I'm
that.
mixing that flower with an herb, because the herb is an underlying notes, because most fragrance have a base, a middle, and a top note.
Yeah.
And we forget all these notes that compose a wine. So it's breaking down all those top notes, even though it's Pinot Noir.
That's amazing. I love that. I did a class. Have you heard of Alexander Schmidt?
Oh, yeah.
And so I've done two levels of his course. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember speaking to him after, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm off to the Champs-Élysées, and I'm gonna do a class. It wasn't with Hermes. It was, but it was with a fashion house, but also with a Bordeaux house, and they were kind of going to marry the two together. Now I can't remember which one, and it was like, oh my God, I just want to follow you around and be your groupie. There's something that's so incredible about identifying these
Those notes.
aesthetic.
And one thing they did,
Yes.
because in Provence, because they took Grenache grapes, right? They peeled the skin, and they did a work, like a class on just the skin of a Grenache and the juice of a Grenache and
Yeah.
smell.
So
If
cool.
you think about, we don't think about the skin as much. We think about skin in terms of color, but not
Yeah.
in terms of nose.
And there's a
And
lot of, yeah, kind of precursors to aromatic.
precursor, right? And then those precursors end up as the tertiary aromas when things age. So it's all working together. Yeah. So yeah, I'm so geeky about that, like, course, that it's like
We could have a whole other Instagram live about
we
it.
can have a whole other Instagram live on the grape skins, because we
Yeah, and
forget that about
I'm
the
looking
grape
at this.
skin.
Yeah,
We,
and
we,
how
we
like
just
two
think about the
esters
juice.
coming together will produce something else as well. Oh my God, I love it.
Because
So
think about with your heat wave, right?
yeah,
What you had a heat wave.
yeah,
If you
and
compare that
yeah.
to the year before, that skin
Oh,
is a very different skin.
I mean, it's different varietals, but the 2015 versus the 2016, and I wish I mean, what would be interesting is looking at the 2015 versus the 2016. It'd be, I think, the aromatics are they're not a complete departure, but there's a difference in it. And 2015, I think, was 70-30 by virtue of what the final blend is. But this was more Pinot than Chardonnay, and it was just there's you see more of that like red fruit, strawberry in.
But also, is the Pinot from the same block, or are you mixing, mixing
So the
blocks?
Pinot is always from one particular section of the vineyard. So Old Vine Pommard. And
What's the clone?
Pommard.
Okay.
Yeah. For this one. And then, and the Chardonnay is from some Old Vine 76 on the property. And so it's just a blend, kind of seeing what synergistically work together. And so it's not always the same. And now, as I was saying, we were blending, we have some Meunier that's come online, which just adds this whole other element,
Yes.
which was, we were singing its praises just a week ago.
Somebody
Like,
just said what you said about grape skin seminar. I would show up for that. Like,
great,
yeah,
let's do this again.
like we got to show up, because the skin on the grapes we often, I think, forget.
Yeah. Oh, and it's so funny to think about, because oftentimes, you know, especially in a sparkling wine or a white wine, the grape skins are secondary, right? You don't want that contact. But there's something interesting that comes out of those grape skins.
I'm looking at the time, is 9:46.
I know.
You know, Instagram's gonna cut us off in like 14 minutes. So
okay, we've got one more wine to try.
Is this chemistry?
Bubbles.
Woo!
This is our affordable luxury. This is something that we started at Stoller. It's our second label, and it's in conjunction. Well, it's part of our Stoller wine group with Chehalem. So we started this.
This was Chehalem?
It's
Girlfriend, speak my love language.
Umbrella, which was great, and it gave us winemaking team the ability to work together and produce an affordable sparkling wine. So, I mean, truly, this is meant to be something. I mean, they say it on Tuesday night, but whatever. Every day's Tuesday. This
is backyard barbecue wine. Look at that color on this.
I know.
You guys see the bubbles? Can you guys see that?
And for $20, come on. Come on. It's great. So definitely more primary fruit, really bright.
It's like a strawberry creamsicle.
I know. It totally is. It is. And it's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be vivacious. And
it's just fun.
It is super fun. So it's, you know, we've been kind of working on this for a little while, thinking about, because we have our higher tier of bubbles, which is great. But it's like, okay, not everybody necessarily wants to drink these wines all the time. They want to use them for more celebratory. So why not drink it? Why not make something that can be distributed on a national level? And that's how this came into fruition. It's
so I'm Sister Sabra.
We're cheersing with chemistry.
Chemistry. It is chemistry. It is Willamette Valley. It is Stoller Vineyards, and so
it is not traditional method. No.
It is. Is this Charmat?
It is. No, it's not. It is force carbonated.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the bubbles are still strong, though. The nose is still prominent. And even I'm swirling, because I swirl my sparkling. I
know, there's such a polarizing. Nope, wine casual. Nope, it's not Charmat. We talked about doing Charmat, but we didn't have the tanks to do it. So we wanted to do the next best thing, and to make an affordable bottle of sparkling wine, we decided to add the carbonation rather than do a traditional method.
But here's the thing.
Opposite ends of the spectrum, and which is
this is great though. This is a great flavor, has great components, has great fruit, has great nose, right?
Yeah.
This is a Monday, Tuesday. I don't know what you watch on TV. I don't know what book you're reading. I don't know what's going on, right? This is when you're cooking dinner. This is that you want to do something. You want some bubble. It's good.
It is good. I know. We just released this. So this is something that is new for us. It's definitely a summer sipper. And I would say it is a staff favorite because
Lifetime movies. Yes, this is your lifetime movie.
Oh my God, Pam! It is your lifetime movie.
It's your lifetime movie. If that's
what would be the title of the lifetime movie that it would be good? I don't know.
Somebody said patio sipper. I call wines like this porch pounders, and the reason why I say is like literally start at the top of the bottle, and an hour later you're at the bottom. It's a porch pounder. Yeah.
I know. I love it. So it's just exciting. It's exciting for me to and for our team to be on pretty much either end of the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
We've got something to offer for everybody, and we got to play around with something that goes out into the national market, because right now our other sparklings don't. So
yeah,
it's fun to be able to have it out there and to have it I don't know, easily quaffable. This is something that it's just like, you don't have to think about it.
Oh, and sometimes you don't want that. Sometimes, you just want to have a glass of wine and have a glass of wine. Yeah. Or glasses of wine.
Totally.
Glasses of wine.
This is what I'm usually in trouble with on Friday nights, because I try to restrain myself during the week, because now I'm in homeschooling mode, which is a whole other story.
Let me tell you, I don't have children, but I pray for all y'all people who homeschool.
Oh my God.
Like, and this is what I tell people when my friends say about the homeschools or whatever. Tell the teachers need to be paid more. My mother was an educator. I come from a family of educators who are teachers, still teaching, still doing that. Yeah. I am lobbying for all y'all. Y'all need all the money. All the money.
For sure.
Like, yeah.
Teachers need to be paid way more. I will sign a petition. We'll rally for them, because my kids don't respond to me as their teacher.
Yeah, so. It's not the same. It's not the same, because for Mrs. or Mr., and I get that, though. It's a different paradigm shift. They're going through their own little understanding of this, that they don't have the same wherewithal we have as adults. And I don't even understand. I can't even sympathize. I can't even empathize. I can just pray, because I can't even imagine.
Oh my gosh. It's been crazy. Oh my gosh, we only have 8 minutes left. How did that go by in such a fast period of time?
Because we're drinking good. We're drinking some. That's what's happened. Like here's the funny thing. Like yesterday, Kate was like, "We're opening 3 bottles," and I was like, "I'm in DC. That's like 9:00." Like, I'm just my whole let's go. I go to bed. So well, I normally go to bed. I spend usually I try to be in the bed at 10:00, because I spend an hour reading. Yeah.
What are you reading right now?
Honey, I decided to let all the books that interest me are really well written go. I'm reading all the trash.
I love it.
I'm reading this book called by Chris Bohjalian. I'm butchering his name, called The Flight Attendant. He writes, I love murder mysteries and thrillers. I love any book that's not going to make me think of my entire life. Yeah. So basically, a flight attendant sleeps with a tech mogul. She wakes up next to him, he's dead. And we're backtracking the whole entire book. It is fast paced. It's interesting. It's making me so happy. I am not trying to analyze the book. I start WSET 3 on Tuesday, virtual.
At least you know what? Everything's slowing down. You're gonna have time. You're gonna have time.
I usually read between 40 and 50 books a year, because I'm on a plane, right? Yeah, so, but right now I'm like, when I get into bed, I don't want to read anything that equates to any kind of I just want to be superficial. If 50 Shades of Grey had just come out right now, that's what I'd be reading. I want to read fluff. I don't want to think too much.
Yeah.
I gotta think enough. And, so I read fun stuff. So it's called The Flight Attendant. He wrote a book. I first introduced, he used to be Gina De Laurentiis' cookbook editor.
Wow.
And he wrote a book, the first, called The Expats. And his books takes place all over the world, because that's the way he writes. And he writes about these hotels and things that goes on. And he's one of my favorite mystery thriller writers. And every year he comes out with a book. The second Tuesday in July, Daniel Silva always comes with a new book from Gabriel Alam, which is an Israeli spy who is an art restorer who restores paintings for the Vatican. I know, the second Tuesday on, I'm just going to be toast. Don't ask me to do anything, because I'm reading Daniel Silva.
Along with your beauty regime, I'm going to have a list. I mean, I already have that. You already sent that.
8313, real quick.
I know, you have been listening.
Okay, we're going to talk about this. I am
I know.
47. I will be 48 in December.
Oh my God.
The only thing I have used for the past 20 years is a French brand.
And this isn't even a paid sponsorship.
This is not a paid sponsor. This is funny. It's literally a $5 tube of retinol that I get in a French pharmacy.
I love it.
This thing is $30 on Amazon, so it's ridiculous, right? I brought all my supplies. Coney Beauty Elixir is what this is my travel with. I literally spray. I literally have it next to me. I do all that. I take off my makeup because we only got a couple minutes with Darphin Cleansing Balm. I know everybody is gonna probably like crack up laughing. French Beauty Supplies.
I love it.
The only moisturizer I use on my skin is Embryolisse Let Creme Concentrate. I have the big one. This is a travel one because that was the easiest to grab. And then I use the Caudalie Vino Perfect sunscreen that is not available in the U.S., but I have a couple of tubes. Kate, and I'll send you a tube.
Oh my God. I need
yes.
all of it. I need all
this
of it.
is the French version homeoplasmine of Vaseline.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
I am learning so much.
No, it's all on that list that you don't have. Like,
I know.
This is the one I use.
I'm going to take this list to the pharmacy when I
we're going to use, and the last thing is the Cyclovast Balm by La Roche-Posay. The version on CVS, don't buy it, is not the same. The one on Amazon has all the French ingredients. And I use that anywhere. And then we'll lay the skin cream, and that's it.
You look amazing. Oh my God. This is, wine and skincare.
This is wine and skincare. We're going to
two of my most favorite things.
Yeah, we like talking about. So this is Kate Payne Brown. She is the winemaker at Stoller in the Willamette Valley at Stoller Vineyards. And if you haven't been, the property, we got to talk about how it's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous.
It
really is.
It's so pretty.
It really is. I mean, we have this iconic shot of an old oak tree with a tire swing that is perched right in front of our tasting room, and it's really the symbol of Stoller. And we're family owned. We've been, the property has been in Bill Stoller's family since the 1940s.
And so, also, the Stoller family is one of those pioneers of Willamette Valley. They helped create it. Yeah. There's a few families that are responsible for the Willamette Valley, and Stoller is one.
I mean, there's something just magical about the property. So I invite everybody, when, we are able to have everybody come visit us, we would love to have everybody. Right now, if you are in the Willamette Valley, and we are having curbside pickup, if you are interested. We will, you can drive up the driveway and come up and see us.
Yes. Well, we got to recap the wines.
Okay. So first wine. We've got the 2015 Blanc De Blanc. It was the inaugural Blanc De Blanc that we've had on for Stoller. It is so wonderful. I'm so excited to be able to share this. Even though we don't have much left, we've got some magnums. We're holding back some other ones for Lake Disgorge. We've got the 2016, which is our current vintage of Brut Rosé. My version of Brut Rosé, not a lot of color. Or a warm site, that's another conversation. But I love this wine. And we've got our every hour sipper for you homeschoolers. Not even every day. This is every hour sipper.
Every hour sipper, yeah.
Of our chemistry bubbles.
Yes.
So it's been fun.
It's been fun.
Oh my God.
I miss you so much.
I miss you too. We'll just have to FaceTime and drink.
Yeah, we have to FaceTime and drink. That's easy.
Oh my God, thank you for sharing all of your knowledge and your time. And
no, thank you.
You're amazing, and I can't wait until we get to meet face to face somewhere in the world, if it's not soon.
Somewhere in the world. I love you. Thank you.
I love you too.
Yes. And they're gonna put this on the Stoller site.
Yeah.
So it won't be on the Julie Coney, it'll be on Stoller sites.
It's gonna be on the Stoller YouTube channel.
Yes. Yeah.
So super fun.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll be in touch soon.
Santé.
Santé. Have a good weekend.
Santé. À la prochaine. Until next time.
A bientôt.
A bientôt. Bye.